All right, shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, foreigners, also the elect of the nations, scattered across the four corners of the earth. I want to give all praise to Barak, Barak, Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash, naming Heavenly Father, who everybody ignorantly calls God, his true name in the ancient Hebrew, which is the last one, Qadash. His true name is Yahawah. Bahasham means in the name of. Yahawashi is the Holy One of Israel. Everybody ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, a so-called Negro from the tribe of Judah, who was slain at the foundation of the earth for the salvation of the elect of Israel. Then you got 2/3 of the wicked Israelites here in America, Babylon the Great, and then the other wicked Israelites scattered across the four corners of the earth that will come back to the loins of the elect after the destruction. The Rawchaa Qadash of the Holy Spirit that has been bestowed upon the men. Heavenly Father gave his only begotten Son out of the world to complete this work. So we always want to give double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, led us all to this truth. been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness of wrath, all those are part of the elect to the hopeful elect. Lord, when we part of that number, Lord, when this be edifying those who fear the name of the Lord, striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah 3:5, but it's not slack. 2 Peter 3:9, and it's unto a ring. 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 42. Shalom, now you sincere believers out there tuning in here on after Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash, Barak, Atham. We're going to get into end time topic lesson. The title is, if you're in that holly jolly type weak spirit this time of year, ... right? So basically, we're just going to go into various things that's been going on the last couple of days. And, we're going to get into it. So Lord, when it's edifying to the flock. And if you're in this spirit of, good old Christmas, you're going to get judged by Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Because the Lord has nothing good to say about this place. America, Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed with nuclear missiles. And you got your own beloved so-called saviors, and not talking to the hopeful elect, but these Bible Belt Christians, these, antichrist to claim they Christians, all these believers in America. You got your own people who are bringing in the MOTB saying the same thing we're saying. So, and they're talking about they're saying it might change history forever. No, we already been telling you this. So this ain't nothing new. But that's the problem with our people. It's like Esau, even the so-called white man says it, then they can believe it. But if we tell you, it's like, it's like whatever, right? That's how it usually is with our people. We tell you that the Most High, he's a so-called Negro, they be like, whatever. All right, cool. But Elon Musk say something about it, you get 100,000, 200,000 views on it. You see what I'm saying? This ain't nothing new. We've been telling you this. Start with the elders and the apostles. Elon Musk said, and they say Jesus, but we say Yahawashi. That's his real name. It says Yahawashi is black, and I brought proof. We don't need your proof. We're the proof. The fact that we're out here teaching the word, four corners of the earth. We don't need Elon Musk to prove to you that Yahawashi is one of us. We're the only ones that are breaking down the doctrine right. We're the only ones that are bringing you prophecy that's adding up with what's going on in the world. So we don't need Elon Musk to prove nothing. We don't need so-called white man's validation that this is our book. We don't need it. So, Lord, when is edifying to the flock, we're going to start right here, going to prophecy of showing that things are further pushing these other nations to come against this place. It says Trump adds European Union, right? That's part of the beast system. Okay, when you look in Revelation, it talks about the beast. It's talking about NATO and the EU. Okay, so it's talking about. So it says Trump adds European Union, the EU, to the list of UA trade partners he's threatening with tariffs. So he's threatening to tax the shit out of them, just like everybody else. Okay, he added them to the list, right? This is another reason why they're going to shoot missiles over here. Let me go to it. It's Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. And a lot of people don't understand what the will of the Lord is. You got people who say they love the Lord and they still believe that stuff like, 9/11 was like, like it was really like the story that they put out there. Like they really still believe in that. When we have movies and all other types of stuff to show you that, they use predictive programming to show you that what's going to happen, and that's a lot what they do. They do a lot of predictive programming, and they're doing the same thing today. They know Yahawashi is a so-called Negro, but it's to the point where the truth is reached the four corners of the earth. So it's like nothing they can do about it anymore. You even had one particular Jake. He was an MMA fighter, and he literally like gave thanks to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi before he was finna do a match. So like the truth is already out there, and it's starting to be publicly spread that is the names of the Lord, you know. And you could tell that he listened to GMS because he said all that. You know, he said they ignorantly call him God and Jesus. He said all that, and then he said first and foremost, you know, and that's how we always talk. We always be like, first and foremost, always going to give all praise to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. That's from Elders and Apostles Great Millstone talking like that. That's coming from us. And another thing about Great Millstone, a lot of people don't understand that this is a very tight circle. It's like not something that you can just come in and not, grow. You have to grow in this thing, and apostles are real strict about that. You know, you have to kind of like be hands-on and find something to do and be useful. You can't just wait for somebody to tell you to do all the time. Sometimes you got to jump on it and make yourself available for the brotherhood, you know. And a lot of people don't, that's why a lot of people, don't really make it into the camp because they don't want to really put themselves out there. You know, you can't be like not showing yourself available for the brotherhood, you know. Especially like us young brothers, we got to make sure that we're doing everything we can to show that, this comes first. You know, there ain't no other stuff to do in life other than this first, And over time, if you don't put this first, you're going to fall out, because it's a lot of stuff you got to learn. I even myself, I'm still considered, a baby in this truth. And I've learned quite a lot, but I still don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? There's still so much I still don't know. Every day I study, I'll be like, damn, I didn't even know that. Just a lot of that stuff we don't bring up, on camera because, we don't want to just put everything out there. You don't want to, confuse new believers. Like, we stick with the milk and what you need to know to get out of here. Because this destruction is coming, man. And if you're in that holly jolly, weak spirit this time of year for Christmas right now, it's not the spirit you want to be in, especially before Passover. You don't want to be doing that. This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. It reads, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, right? NATO in the EU, these shall hate the whore. Talking about America, Babylon the Great. Why are they going to hate her? Because they're putting tariffs on them. They're taxing them. They're putting all these different restrictions on them, right? Shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. See what I'm saying? That's what's coming. And Jake, the majority of Jake is starting to have a healthy fear of the Lord. But a healthy fear in the Lord is also like, especially dealing with the brotherhood, it's like, we got to make sure our intentions is pure. Because if they're not, then the Lord's going to root us out, man. So it's very serious, the energy that we put into this, and that's just saying to myself first and foremost, I just got in the body, but I seen another lesson because GMS Spiritual Armory 144 did a quick lesson. He was like, going into that, like you need to get in and get out. You going to grow or you going to go. And another brother was saying like, you want to feel like you walking on eggshells. And that's how you want to feel in this truth. Like you on eggshells, man. You don't want to just be feeling like comfortable and shit. We're not here to be comfortable. We're here to be put in an uncomfortable position. That's part of the trials. And that's the one thing about Jake. He want to just stay comfortable. And if you stay comfortable, you will get rooted out. You got to start doing stuff that takes you out of your comfort zone. You know how they say in the world, right? No pain, no gain, right? That's how it is over here in the spirit. You have to, because it says like if you study too much, it'll temper with the flesh. But sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to buckle down and study more. Sometimes you got to buckle down and do stuff that you don't normally do. That's what a soldier does. Soldier goes into the military knowing that he's going to have to fulfill some requirements that isn't on paperwork. That's going to be more work than was expected. And that's how we want to be. You want to be presentable to the Lord, to where if he has us do something, you want to be ready to do it. Because the position that I'm in and whatever I'm doing and being in GMS, I didn't put myself there. The Lord put me there, and you got to be ready for that, because you never know. The Lord be like, all right, now I need you to do this. So it's just a healthy exhortation to myself, and just whoever watches. It's not really like nothing like intent, like personal to nobody, but it's definitely something that the Spirit has been saying in the brotherhood, so I'm mentioning it on my channel. Verse 17, for the Most High have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, right? This is the will of the Lord, to burn this place with fire. And a lot of people here are talking about the Lord's just got them and they're great and everything's just, they're here to shine the Lord's light to the world. But it's like, what are you talking about? He's finna come destroy this place, and they're not warning nobody. Nobody's not warning nobody, except the elect, the hopeful elect, them starting to know with the men, and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, and to the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled, which is what? MOTB got to be made mandatory. All right, the RFDI chip you put in your right hand to your forehead. Okay. Then you got family of the word. That's going to happen before that. World War III, all that's going to happen around all at the same time, after the family of the word. This is the Lord's will to do this, man. This is not like something that you just, this is not a book you just pick up and just interpret it however you want to interpret it. The Lord will get rid of you if you do that. That's why, us over here in GMS, we're very stern about that, because we really want to make sure that what the sacrifice we present to the Lord is the best we had, because that's what he did for us. So while everybody's getting all ready for the Christmas spirit, there's been a lot of judgment going on the earth. This one right here says at least 38 dead after crash between passenger bus and a truck in Brazil, right?
But first, as we mentioned, a passenger plane carrying 61 people crashed in Brazil Friday. It happened just outside Sao Paulo. The flight had taken off 450 miles away and was heading for the Brazilian city.
So you got this too. You got a plane carrying 61 people, all crashed, all of them died. Then you had a buck and a bus and a truck killed 38 people all around the same time, right? We got that going on. Okay, over here, you got this going on, right? So these people trying to be holly and jolly at this damn convention, this Christmas convention, right? It's a Christmas celebration. Look at that. Doggone car or some disgruntled dude about something. Just look what he did, man. Watch. Bow. Just ran through all them people, man. 11 dead, 80 injured, man. See what I'm saying? This is why we don't need to be out here doing all this. See what I'm saying? You don't be out here in this spirit like that, man. The Lord's judging these people. And this is in Saudi Arabia, of course, But they said something about he was disgruntled or something, or whatever happened. He out there just taking vengeance in his own hands and just running over a bunch of random people that he didn't really have no quarrel with them people. But that's the Lord bringing vengeance on people in this spirit, trying to celebrate this wicked holiday. We know in Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2-4, it says it's a custom of the heathen. It's not something we're supposed to be partaking of. It says dozens killed in deadly stampedes for Christmas gifts in Nigeria. So this is a whole nother time where they had some stampedes kill a whole bunch of people. There's been 2 of them in the last couple of days. It says at least 32 people were killed in stampedes during 2 Christmas charity events in Nigeria. See 2 of them. The victims were including at least 4 children collapsed during crowd surges as people grew desperate for food items while the country grapples with the worst cost living crisis in a generation. The dead included 22 people in southeastern Anambra State's Anoka town, where a philanthropist on Saturday organized a food distribution. Local police spokesman, I don't know how to say his name, said 10 others died in the capital, Abuja, during a church organized similar charity event. See, this is all this stuff trying to give a certain alms and thanks to the Lord, and the Lord's not accepting none of that stuff. That's why they're getting judged. Okay, so that's why we like these holidays, man. You got to stop this stuff, Jake. And that's just for the people who are new coming in, whoever comes in, and let's say you're partaking in this stuff. You don't want to do this stuff, man, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for Jake to tell them to repent. You know, because this is coming to a point where the Lord's not going to give you no more mercy. He ain't going to give you no more grace period, because that's what it said. It said mercy is seasonable in the book of Ecclesiasticus. There's no, which is the book of Sirach. There's no, you don't get forever. Eventually you get judged. So that's why we're, trying to make sure that we're staying right with the Heavenly Father. And what's the way of doing that? Staying connected with the brotherhood and making sure that you're putting something forth towards His ministry, especially if you're a teacher. That's our reasonable service. So it's not really nothing we're supposed to be praised for. We're just supposed to do it because we already owe the Lord. He bought us. It's Ecclesiasticus, the book of Sirach, chapter 7, and it reads, "Do no evil, so shall no harm come unto thee." See? So that's why we try to do that. We try our best not to go off and make mistakes and things like that, but we're not perfect. So, we are going to make mistakes, but, that's why you want to make sure you repent, especially in our language, in the Hebrew, if you don't understand Hebrew, the best, how I started was I had a repentance prayer and I would read it, you just read it every day, before you leave, and you ask for the Lord for forgiveness, not let alone in this life, but in your past lives, because reincarnation is in the Bible, but we ain't going to go into it too much, but it is in there. Depart from the unjust, and iniquity shall turn away from thee. See? So we don't want to be around the people who are doing this kind of stuff. Okay? And of course, like some of us, whatever, let's say you do got or whatever kind of small business or whatever, and you go out there and you try to sell some stuff or whatever, just be circumspect and don't affiliate yourself with people there. Just sell your stuff and get out. There's brothers who do that, go and have their little small businesses, but just don't let it get in front of the ministry. And also don't forget to do your part by, eventually to the point you want to start giving alms, because it said that we rob the Lord in tithes and offerings. We're supposed to give back alms to all the times that we received benefits here and we didn't give back to the tabernacle. So it's very important you do that as well, but it says also, like, if you just ain't got a whole lot of money, don't just give everything you got, make sure you good or whatever, but give what you can. That's also part of being the prophet, helping, other brothers stay stable in America, Babylon, and great, ultimately the apostles and the elders, because they've been here taking care of us, making sure that we got all the doctrine right so we don't get blown up out here. Verse 3, "My son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness, and thou shalt not reap them sevenfold," which means completion. And that's what they did. They were just sowing unrighteousness constantly. We're not doing that over here. We make mistakes and stuff, and we do things sometimes and we give in to the flesh and make mistakes, but we ain't just constantly sowing unrighteousness. We're also putting in righteous alms. And it said, and this is an alm, doing these lessons. That's part of an alm as well. So it's not just also, physical alms. The spiritual ones are even really, more important, but they're both valuable, also sending up prayers. That's really one of the best weapons we got, so not shall not reap them sevenfold. Seek not of the Lord preeminence, neither of the king the seat of honor, and that's what you got. A lot of these new camps coming up, these, Sakari and all these people, they want to be put in the seat of honor, and the elders and apostles, they don't even put themselves in that matter. And even though they are the judges of Israel, they literally are they are the prophets of Israel. They're the judges of Israel, but you don't see them up there like, acting all high and mighty, but they do show their dominance. Like they show like we are the judges of Israel. That doesn't mean that you're when you do that, that's showing it said that you're supposed to prove all things. But we ain't gonna just prove it to somebody who just it's not worthy for it to be proven to. But this order that's been set up, it's not just some random setup. The Lord has set up like this for a reason. So verse 5, justify not thyself before the Lord and boast not of thy wisdom before the king, right? That's why a lot of times when we are around the elders and apostles and stuff, especially a big group of them, us young brothers, it's best just not to even really say nothing. A lot of them know that and it's good sometimes when they ask of you and they ask you what you think about things, of course, answer. But if there's a bunch of them talking to elders and apostles, it's like best you just, let them, just listen. And that's a lot of things, that's the best thing for you to do as a new brother coming in the truth. You around a bunch of elders and basically who you come into a camp, whoever's over you is basically your elder. You know what I'm saying? So there you got to learn how they do stuff because not every elder is the same. It's different bodies, different organizations. Whoever you're under is who the Lord set you under to be under. So you're supposed to really understand how they do things. You know what I'm saying? And try to, help them to the best of their ability so they can help who's in front of them. It's a chain, it's a military, So, but it takes time for that. You know what I'm saying? Because Jake is so used to, putting his trust in people who he thought would lead him and then, they would lead him wrong. But, how we are in GMS, it's like, we ain't going to force it, man. If you think that the Lord ain't set it up, then, it's going to show, So that's how this goes, We ain't worried about it, though, because we believe that whatever happens, the Lord's doing it. So there ain't nothing really to worry about. So seek not to be judged. Of course, we're supposed to judge. It says we're supposed to judge, but what it means by we judge righteously, but we ain't just, out here trying to be like, we is just like the big bad, prophets or whatever. We judging what the Lord told us to speak out against. But, a lot of matters we try to stay out of it because the Lord's handling all that stuff. He said, don't be a busybody in other men's matters. But when you are dealing with the brotherhood, we're definitely going to be administrators. We're going to, sift brothers and think and see what brothers do and whatnot and all that, because that's our job, because if we don't do that, then what's the point of us being here? This is all us being set up to where, we're hoping to be the only few men in every, in all of each one of these cities to be the elect men who rule the earth. That you ain't gonna get that comfortably. That's gonna be an uncomfortable a series of events. And if you're comfortable in this truth, that's a problem. That's a big problem if you're comfortable right now. So that's the last thing the Lord's doing is making it comfortable for his men. He's making it uncomfortable right now because we're close to what? Jacob's trouble coming. So if you comfortable right now, just just not saying you got to just do anything, but just keep that in mind to keep yourself busy doing something. Study harder. Do something to make it where you striving a little bit. Or whatever, It's just something that I'm telling myself too. So I don't get comfortable. So seek not to be judged, being not able to take away iniquity, right? Because we can't take away sin, right? At least at any time, fear the person of the mighty and stumbling block in the way of thy uprightness, right? Verse 7, offend not against the multitude of a city, then thou shalt not cast thyself down among the people, right? Supposed to kind of stay out of stuff. Verse 8, but we're going to sometimes just get into stuff. That happens too. Bind not one sin upon another, for in one thou shalt not be unpunished. See? And, we're blessed that the Lord didn't punish us for all the things that we did fully, but he ain't just going to let everything go, man. He going to find out some way for him to get at you about whatever you're doing, and we're going to prove it. Because if he doesn't get at you any kind of way for doing it, that means he really don't love you. If he don't really get on you and you ain't got nobody getting on you, you just doing whatever and ain't nobody getting on you, that means the Lord really not dealing with you. This is verse 9. Say not, the Most High will not look upon the multitude of my oblations, and when I offer to the Most High, he will accept it, right? You know, so we don't know if he's going to accept it. That's why we're seeking him with fear and trembling. We hope he does. We praying he does. You know, verse 10, be not faint-hearted when thou makest thy prayer. See, so don't be faint-hearted, you know, be bold about it and say like, hey, you said if I do this, you're going to do this for me. You know, but don't just think you're already at the finish line. That's really all I'm saying. And neglect not to give alms. See, we don't neglect doing that if you can do it. You know, that's all I'm saying. So we're going to go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11. Verse 15. And it reads, but for the foolish devices of their wickedness, right? For these people who didn't want to take all the spiritual advice from the elders and apostles and the brothers on down to even, you know, the affiliate camps trying to, you know, stay good with the brotherhood, you know, because they're doing the work too, you know. But for the foolish devices of their wickedness, wherewith being deceived, they worship serpents void of reason and vile beasts, and didst send a multitude of unreasonable beasts upon them for vengeance. And that's what happened to them. Them children tried to do all that stuff for the holidays or whatever to get them presents, and the Lord sent them unreasonable beasts on them for vengeance. You know, that's why I'm going into it, because we read an article about it. Verse 16, that they might know that wherewithal a man sinneth, by the same also shall he be punished. You see? So basically, a lot of judgments that you're seeing is because of particular things that people did throughout their life and never really repented, which means to turn back, you know, return to our heritage, you know. And it talks about, you know, especially if you're a teacher and you put down this plow, like you stop doing the work. That's you know, the Lord said those men are not fit for the kingdom, you know. And it's also like, you know, when it says that, it talks about looking back, it's like, is if you have this spirit in your mind where you looking back in your old life and being like, feeling like that was a better life than this. You don't want to have that spirit, Jake, because it doesn't matter who knows, like, it doesn't matter who knows whether you feel like that or not. The Lord knows, you know, and he'll eventually, you know, be like, oh, so you liked it in the world so bad. All right. You thought it was so much better to have these friends and these people and do whatever and be able to go do whatever with them. The Lord gonna be like, well, go back over there then. And then we won't even been done nothing. Just be like, damn, where'd bro go? That's how the Lord works. And this is not the time to be bouncing back and forth in the world. We got to stay away from these people, man, as best as possible. You know, we're going to have to be around them a little bit, but at least do it in a way where it's bringing some type of help to the brotherhood if we got to be around them. It's Ecclesiasticus, the book of Barak, chapter 30, verse 1, and it reads, he that loveth his son casteth him off to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. So what do you say? He that loveth his son, the Lord loves you. What's he going to do? You're going to feel like you're walking on eggshells most of the time. You're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel nervous. You can sometimes feel like, damn, got to make sure my shit's right. That's the Lord getting on your ass and keeping that fire lit under you so you don't die out here. It's not a bad thing. Verse 2, he that chasteneth his son shall have joy in him and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. See, this is things that, you know, Jake, it's harder for Jake to, you know, to get this stuff and really, like, you know, really take this as something to be thankful for. You know, a lot of Jakes don't like getting corrected. A lot of Jakes don't like, you know, reproof, especially, you know, when you show them. Sometimes you try to show Jake something and you tell him, you like, maybe you don't tell him, maybe you know, because all you got to do is just look at the brothers and look what they're doing. And look how they are and stuff, and look at the leaders and how they, you know, carry themselves, whatever they do, you know, what, you know, you can kind of see like what you need to be like, you know. And of course, brothers is different, but there is protocol. There are certain things that you like, all right, I need to make sure that this stuff is you know, looks like this, you know. And that's just saying, just be very sure when you know, when you really are coming into the camp and you're trying to get into the brotherhood, be really sure to know, like, you know, how that camp works specifically. You know, that's all I'm saying. And you also go and look at other brothers. It's like just like in school, you go learn anatomy. You know, that's like what you learn how the whole body works. So it's not wrong with that too. But make sure that you're holding your particular job in the camp that you're finna go to, because that's the one that that's the where your brick's gonna be at. You know, that's where you really got to focus on the most. What's the point of that brick being there? That's how the Lord's going to be. Like, what's the point of that brick being there? And if you ain't really doing that, Lord gonna take that brick out and put another one in there. That's how the Lord works. So that's why we like all on eggshells all the time, you know, especially before the Passover. You know, we definitely don't want to be messing up around then or making no bad judgments, because that the Lord's trimming the fat, man. You know, every day he's cutting people, you know, out of wisdom when they, you know, tarried and just kind of just did their own thing. So it's just something that we got to keep in mind, you know, keep that constant fear of the Lord that he could get rid of you. You know, it's a healthy fear to do that. Verse 3, he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. And that's what we want. We want the elders and apostles to speak well of us. You know, us new brothers coming in, believers. We want them to speak well of us and be comforted by us, you know, by the you know, the gratitude that we show them for what they done for us, man, and what they got to go through during Jacob's trouble, because a lot of them gonna go through a lot more than us, you know, because they're the head of the camps, man. They're gonna go through a lot of trials because the Lord's really like putting that rod on them, because they're the heads. That's why I said don't make yourself equal with them, you know, because if you do, then, you know, it's out of order. Verse 4, though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he have left one behind him that is like himself. You see, and these are our spiritual fathers, and that's how things go here. Like, you know, whoever's over you, that's like kind of like, in a sense, your spiritual father. And it doesn't mean like some weak, like submissive, like type spirit the world's given. It's talking about the person who literally might be in line with you for the 144,000 elect men that the Lord chose to rule the universe. That's something way different than what the world's talking about, you know. And you might think that, like, you know, you might have like, man, why is that brother in that position? Maybe because it'd be something spiritual that he can handle better than you. You know, some crazy shit go down spiritually, you might not act as better as that brother. That's why we got people over us. You see what I'm saying? So you just gotta keep that stuff in mind, you know, as you come into. And this is just stuff, you know, that I learned coming into the truth. So just hasn't been something that I really brung up lately. So I wanted to bring up some of that stuff, because judgment is going out, man. And the Lord has put a sword, okay, where everybody's getting ready for Christmas and doing all this, you know, lovey-dovey shit. This is what Esau's doing. So 3,000 round per minute, like little tiny ass rifle, man. This is what Esau's doing. So your little AKs and shit ain't nothing. He pull up, 3 Edomites pull up to your house
the button
with that damn thing. Watch this shit, man.
I think it's the barrel. Ready?
That's what Esau's doing. Okay, 3,000 bullets in a minute. So Jake out here with whatever, you maybe got a 9, an AK, whatever. That shit ain't nothing. Esau pull up one of them, or have his robot dog with one of them damn things attached to it. He click the button, that bitch just shoot through everybody over there. That's why we like. So I'll be like, there ain't even no point of having no damn gun at this point. Look at the shit they got. You know what I'm saying? It's wild, bro. They really out here with that stuff. I want to put some precepts on it, but I'm gonna do Yeah, let me go to that. Ezekiel. I had a couple more on and Proverbs that was good ones about a father chastising his son, disciplining him. And that doesn't mean like we just mess up all the time, but what it's saying is that it keeps that you keep that pressure on them, like make sure you're doing right, make sure you're doing this, and it says also, the Lord winked at us, so you don't want to just get on a brother for everything you're doing, but there's certain stuff you got to be like, all right, you got to get that, you got to work on that, you got to work on that, and it ain't nothing, it ain't nothing to like be like them trying to be over you. It's like this is what the Lord's telling us to tell you, because if we don't do that, that means what? Then we're not being leaders, and the Lord gonna get rid of us. So, that spirit, when it comes on us, you see it sometimes. We come on steer sometimes, and that's the Lord doing that, man. So you can see how serious it is. Because if you just talk all nice to Jake all the time, you're gonna think your ass a pushover and shit. And we're not pushovers over here. We're not playing none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't just no tyrants. But we not playing around. We're not finna just let any just regular ass Jake in the camp. You got to be extraordinary. That's how it's supposed to be. That's why you got the apostles talking about you've been in the truth for 5-10 years and you still going through the same shit. Nah, they're not having that shit. So we're saying, especially new brothers like us, we need to get prepared now. So maybe we are here 5 years later. We ain't having that conversation. We ain't getting that conversation ran to us. So we had that fear when we first got in here. Is Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 9. Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, say a sword is sharpened, also furbished, right? Verse 10, it is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth, right? Should we be doing Christmas, all that, right? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree, right? Verse 11, and he hath given it to be furbished that it may be handled. By who? Esau, even so-called white man. This sword is sharpened and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. And who is the slayer? Esau, even so-called white man. The Lord called him the hammer of the earth. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 23. But they're gonna go down, but we can't take them out. The Lord has to, So I would tell you, because it's gonna be it's gonna need to be a lot of spiritual intervention to go down in that time for us to make it out. Like he had a gun with 50 rounds in it, man. You ain't just getting out of something like that, man. You're gonna need spiritual intervention for you to make it out of something like that. And that's just the shit that they're showing for fun. They got all types of weapons that none of us have never seen. He ain't gonna whip that shit out till Yahawashi get here. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 23, and it reads, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? It's talking about Esau, so-called white man. How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Talking about here, America, Babylon the Great. Verse 24, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware, right? Thou art found and also caught because thou hast striven against the Lord. How did they strive against the Lord? They were doing stuff like this. It said men who were lynched more than a century ago are innocent now. Judge finds. They got these people over here trying to, Esau Edom talking about some, and look at all of them in there smiling like, we made justice today. No, y'all didn't. These people are already lynched alive. What are you talking about? What's the point of pulling this out and saying this? Because it's Esau Edom trying to act like, they give a fuck about Jake. That's really all it is. It's a whole lot of us that got lynched at that time. We didn't do nothing wrong, other than sin against the Lord. That's why they were doing that kind of stuff to us. You know what I mean? He sent our enemies after us, but they're gonna have to pay for that because they strived against the Lord, because it was justified for us to go into slavery, but they went overboard. They went overboard with it. So the Lord's gonna get them for that. Verse 25. the Lord opened his armory and had brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Shalom, Mak Yahawah Yahawashi Bahasham, Qadash Barak. Shalom. That's one of the brothers coming to the camp. And the land of the Chaldeans, verse 26. Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. And that's what's coming. The Lord's going to destroy this place, man. You know, with their missiles for the stuff that they done to Jake here. And while that's going on, you know, Jake, we got to all keep in mind as men, like, because, and this is me talking to myself too. I try to tell myself every day, because Jake does, you know, Jake, you know, you can't be a Jake and say you're a man and wouldn't, you know, be cool with having a faithful woman by your side and having a woman like help you in your time of need or whatever, and things get rough. But, you know, not all of us got that. And if you don't got it, it's best to stay out of it, especially, you know, dealing with these women who don't believe in the truth, worldly women. And, you know, sure, if you want to, you know, you can deal with them. It's not a sin, but it could be something that hinders you from getting, you know, being more useful, you know, to the brotherhood. And that's why, you know, it's something that, like, yeah, you know, brothers sit down, we'll have our little conversations or whatever, but it's a blessing that the Lord has the spirit on us to stay away from these women, man, you know, right now, because they all about folly right now. They in that Christmas spirit. They want to find somebody to cuddle up with for the, you know, for the holidays and New Year's and all that. And we getting caught up in that. It just, you know, the Lord's got these Edomites out here with 3,000 round barrel drums right now. This is not the time to be playing around with these females, man. It's finna get live. But I just want to play a little bit of this daily edification for Apostle Gabar. He played this video of this dude. He ain't even in the truth. So they even know not to be dealing with these women. So that's what I want to do, and I'm going to put in the precept.
Okay, so this is a video that popped up in my feed. This is from Terry Joel Jr. And he looks like an Edomite, but I don't know. He may be a Jake, I don't know. But anyway, the subject has to do with modern women. As you see the title here, men are finding out how atrocious modern women really are. We are cooked. And by the time you're done watching this video, you know, you will consider that relationships are pretty much dead in this society. Relationships between men and women. Now, the Apostle Paul did say every man has his proper gift. So it is possible Yahawashi could send you a woman in this ministry to be with. But
Slaki. Shalom, Maki. Bahasham, Bahasham, Qadash Barak. Shalom. So the brother come to the camp. Shalom, Maki. I'm going to keep playing this. But I wanted to mention something. Like he said, he might bring you a woman into the truth, you know, and whatnot. But I want to make another point. You're still going to go through some hell. You're still going to go through a little bit of hell, Jake. Just remember that. They still not going to be perfect. You're going to have to be patient with them. Sometimes they're going to, you know, upset you and whatnot. It's just, it ain't no way out of that. But, you know, you got to remember that the Lord does, you know, he could send you a woman in the truth, but just be ready to, you know, make sure that, you know, you don't let it hinder you from the truth. That's all I'm saying. Just make sure you don't let nothing hinder you, because this is the time where next year's shit is really finna get heavy. Women is going to be more trying to approach us, trying to come around us, trying to talk to us, trying to get with us, whatever. You know, we got to be really in the spirit right now, you know, especially all the stuff they putting in the food, whatnot. And, yep, that's a good scripture right there. We'll go ahead and read that. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 27. It reads, art thou bound to a wife? Seek not to be loose, right? So if you do got a woman, you know, don't make it to where you just trying to get rid of her. But if she making a hassle to the ministry, yeah, you're going to have to let her go. Because we're gonna have plenty of women in that day. It's gonna be like, if we are those men, we ain't gonna be, that's gonna be the last thing on our mind is women, and we're gonna have more than we really ask for. It's gonna be really probably uncomfortable for us. That's why we say be prepared to be uncomfortable. Not gonna be comfortable in Jacob's trouble. Ain't gonna be no comfort, you know. But the Lord is gonna put certain people with us where it's like he's saying, this is who I'm giving you to bring, you know. Because there's elect women out there too, and children. And, you know, it's not going to be like in 70 AD where, you know, the women are terrified and running with their babies trying to get out, you know, because, you know, when Israel was raided, it ain't going to be like that. The chariots are going to be protecting us and stuff. But that doesn't mean that we ain't going to go through nothing. It's going to be like a miraculous. You can be like, I can't believe it, you know. So art thou loose from a wife, seek not a wife. That's why I said, like, you know, I'll pull this up real quick before we go on this. So I want to mention this. It's been a while since I've done this scripture. There's like two of them like this, but I'm going to just pull up one of them. This is Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5. And it reads, behold, ye among the heathen. See, that's how we know they're talking to the Israelites. You know, behold, ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. For I will work a work in your days, which ye shall not believe, though it be told you. See? And that's the one thing about Jake. Jake lost so much. It's hard for Jake to be like, he'll really come get me, man. He'll really come get me. You got to have faith he will. But like I said, don't be, you know, don't be proud about it. But, you know, yeah, be bold and sure that, you know, you gave it your all. And you do that. Ain't no man can't say nothing to you if you really gave it all you got, man. No man ain't gonna come at you. Not no man of the Lord, I would say. But these other men, yeah, they finna start coming down on us heavy too. We got to get ready for that too. You know,
in this ministry to be with. But the optimum way to be in this knowledge, this truth, is to pretty much be by yourself. You know, that way you can concentrate a lot more on the ministry.
see?
All right. I know it's hard especially for you younger men, to be that way. You know, when you're young, you got all that fire and you need to get that release, you know. But as you get older, you don't burn like the scriptures calls it burning. You don't burn as much. But when you're a young man, it's kind of tough. But
It is, but we got to be uncomfortable. Sometimes that's the burden of being a leader. You got to be uncomfortable sometimes and do stuff that your flesh don't want you to do. That's the battle, you know. That's something that, especially as young brothers, we deal with. You know, me too. You know, I ain't gonna be sitting there acting like I don't be wanting me a female every now and then. But I know that this ain't about me. This is about making sure, you know, we get the fuck out of here. You know, that's our main thing, making sure everybody who's Israel in this area, wherever your station is, wherever the Lord's got you stationed, to pull the hopeful elect out of Babylon, that's our first goal. Get them out of here, even if we don't get out. Hopefully they get out, you know, at least get to safety until the Lord raises us all back up and then we all go up in the chariots together, you know, whatever. We want to make sure that we give our life so, you know, the elect, whoever's the elect, don't lose theirs. You know, it said a friend lays down his life, a true friend lays down his life for his friends, you know, and really we family. This is a family reunion. If we all the elect, you know, the hopeful elect who's in this right now, that means basically we're all blood related. You know, we're the first people to even have any understanding of righteousness, you know. So Lord willing, you know, man, we are that number, you know what I'm saying?
just watch this video and consider the facts brought out in this video, and that'll give you more information to make a better decision concerning today's women, because these women out here are gone. We're not just saying that because we're anti-women. These women are gone, man. And when you watch videos like this, it reinforces, because this guy's spitting nothing but facts. It reinforces that fact that these women in this society, they're just gone. Okay. Anyway, without further ado, let's check it out. Let me start by saying all praises and glories due to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Shalom to you, brothers and sisters of the household of faith. So let's check it out.
You ladies watching this video can take this in a different context as well, and you can think of this in exactly what I'm about to say towards men all you want, because I understand there's not all good men out there either, but at the end of the day, I am a man and I deal with women, so I'm going to make this about this, and it's going to be very relatable. And I do believe in this current society we're in, I do believe that there's more bad women than there are bad men. And that is not, if I was a woman, I'd have the exact same outlook, because I'm a realist at the end of the day, and I know what I see, and I know what's out there, and it is what it is. So
that's a key word he used there, realist. Now, even the scriptures say this, knowing the time. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me go to this scripture. The time is short. The time is short. Let's get that one. It is right here. This is what the Apostle Paul said. This is the same Apostle Paul that said this. Before I read the 29th verse, he said this in the first verse. Now, this is teaching on marriage. Now, you got groups like the IUIC, they push marriage, but this is what the Apostle Paul said. Now, concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. All right. So what do you think that means? It's good for a man pretty much to be on his own, especially in this ministry. And one of the reasons why he said that is when you jump down to the 29th verse, this is what fueled him to say what he said in the first verse. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. Now, remember, this was written more than 2,000 years ago. So how much more now? The time is really short. Okay. It remaineth that both they that have wives or women be as though they had none. So even if you were to so-called cultivate a relationship, which we don't even have time to cultivate a relationship. We already have a relationship. Us men that are in this knowledge is truth, we already have a relationship. And that is with Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi through this knowledge.
See, so, I don't want to go too far into it, but, I would advise you to go, for brothers who want to, go in and get some, some precepts, this is Apostle Bar, going into, about, just being as though they had none. And of course, people who've been, in the scriptures and, hopeful elect, especially ones who are out on the highways, byways, we know these things, but it's great. It's good. It's good to go into these things frequently, to know that, this stuff has got to stay lodged in our mind, that this time is real short, and it's good to refresh your mind on it, especially scriptures that you do know, because it helps you just, it helps you stay focused, on the just the times that we in, because Jake can get sidetracked a lot, especially when it comes to women. So I want to bring this up because it's been a while since I went into it. Brothers posted some stuff, posted a couple of scriptures, 1 Corinthians 17:33, going into, when you get, when you're married, you got to care about the things that your wife, to please your wife. But like Apostle Bar said, like we're the wife in this situation. That's Israel. We're the wife, and we're supposed to be trying to please who? Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. So that's why even us that do have wives, you can't even tell we got one, because they never be around. They be doing what they got to do to make sure they helping us, just like, with Yahawashi. We're doing what we do to make sure that, his purpose is done. That's all we focus on all day. That's how our wives are supposed to be focused on, making sure we do this. And if your wife's not doing that, then she's just a distraction anyways, So, but this is something this is something that we coming to. This is coming real soon. A remnant prepared, Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. In that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man. That word 7 mean completion. So it could be 20 women, it could be 100 women, it could be 1,000 women, just depending on whatever the Lord gave that specific man. And this is talking about the elect men. And then you also got, you got the 144,000 elect men. And then you have, some men that were just believers and whatnot. And they're in the honorable multitude, and they have their wives too. There's going to be some men in the honorable multitude, but not as much as women, So shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. How much more now? And that's what women do. Women, they want you to take care of them and all this stuff. They want you to look after them, and they make you feel like we're here to make their life easier. No, your job is supposed to make our life easier. You're supposed to make it to where we're not as troubled. And that's the problem with America, Babylon the Great. It's giving this ideology of like we're supposed to comfort their ass. Nah, they're supposed to comfort us. We're the ones finna go to battle, And that's why we're saying these modern women that they're just through, because that's not their mindset. Their mindset is you tending to their ass. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. See, they said just marry us. That's what they were saying. Now you got some people who say it's not saying that. Well, let's go look it up in the NLT. It's to show you got some people saying that it doesn't mean that. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. In that day, so few men will be left that 7 women shall fight for each man, right? And we know that means completion. Saying what? Let us all marry you. We will provide our own food and clothing. Only let us take your name so that we won't be mocked as old maids. That's what they're going to be looked at. That's what you're going to be looked at as if you're a woman out there. One of you are saying you're a hopeful elect woman. If you ain't got one of us, then you're going to be considered an old maid, worthless, useless. That's why you got to make sure if you don't got a man of the Lord, you need to be preparing to do that. And it said, make no tarrying in the turn to the Lord. What's your job? Serve a man of the Lord. And if you just sitting around the whole damn time, what makes you think you're going to get out here? Get out of here. Y'all supposed to be helping us right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something you want to, you aquat out there, you can keep that fire lit under your ass too. You need to get on something to make yourself useful. Just like us, we didn't come into brotherhood because we just finna get taken care of. We came in here because we came, put some work in for Yahawashi. That's y'all too. We're all servants. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 9. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. Simple as that. Simple. It's simple. And every now and then, especially like most brothers, some brothers go, even the apostles, they go into women and stuff frequently because why? Because it's a lot more than us. And a lot of them don't really even got they don't have wisdom like us. So it's good to sometimes to go into some of that stuff because they definitely need to be constantly reminded that y'all job is to take care of us and help us out, not the other way around. Of course, we're going to comfort our women and do stuff with them, do stuff for them, but you got to be able to sustain yourself. You can't have that spirit of being like, oh, well, my man's supposed to take care of me. You be telling your man he broke and he working all the time. Well, what your ass doing? Get your ass up and go do something then. Go get a job or something, so you won't have to be sitting there just complaining the whole time. Do something to help the house, and that's what's wrong with these women today. They want this rich ass man, but they want a man at the house at the same time, but they don't want to do shit. And that's the problem. So this is, and that's not saying like, we ain't talking about, hopeful leg woman. We talking about worldly woman. We ain't saying that hopeful leg woman, y'all just wicked and shit. Like, we know y'all trying to get right. Just keeping your mind that like the apostle said, if you don't grow, you go. You have to grow. You got to grow too. And that's, when you're taking care of one man of the Lord, you got to grow. And of course, there are certain things where if you can't do it, then don't. But you do what you can. That's all I'm saying. If you do your best as you can and show that you really trying to get right, the Lord going to take care of you. It says, Baxham Co. says lays off 40,000 garment workers. Just literally just let them all off. Right in the middle of the month, just bye. And that's what you got to get ready for too, Jake. The more these AI robots stuff come in, you can't expect to keep no job these days. That's why a lot of us young brothers be doing little small businesses on the side or whatever, little side hustles or whatever that we can to get by, because we know that soon there ain't finna be no work for nobody. I want to read this in the NLT too. This is Isaiah 19:15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. See? That's what's coming. There ain't going to be no work left. Ain't nobody going to have no job. It's already hard right now for Jake to keep a job. Especially when you're teaching on the highways and byways, you got everybody seeing you. They know you chant down Babylon and all that, because they be acting like they don't know what's going on. They know it's the end of the world. They know. This Isaiah 19:15 NLT. There's nothing Egypt can do. It's really talking about here in Babylon. We're gonna prove that in just a minute. We're gonna go into something Ezra said. There's nothing Egypt can do. All are helpless. The head and the tail, the noble palm branch and the lowly reed, right? That's everybody, even us down here who's just grunt workers and shit. We work for under everybody. We ain't gonna have shit. So what that's why I said, like the women were saying, we'll take care of ourselves, because what makes you think any kind of man gonna be able to take care of you in that day? So that means what? You're gonna have to sustain yourself a little bit, That's what we're saying. You got to get ready to sustain yourself. That's what you all out here and us. Can't just have that spirit like these women out here in the world, thinking that you just gonna have, just because you got a man, you ain't gotta do nothing. No, you gotta actually do more, especially if you got a man of the Lord. Because if your man is supposed to rule the universe forever, that means that what you gonna have to do? You're gonna have to do a lot more than is date one of these regular ass men out here. Because he's actually worth more than gold. You just don't know it yet till the day comes. It says, rare Christmas disease sees victims bleed to death without urgent treatment. Okay. So this is like some disease, another disease that's coming out, and there's many diseases that are in the scriptures that weren't named in the book. And that's a good one too. The one talking about the keepers of the house shall trim with the water for your precepts. I don't want to take too long. That's why I ain't been reading all of them. I only got a couple more, and I want to make a point. This is Deuteronomy. This is Deuteronomy 20:28, verse 60. And it reads, moreover, these are some of the curses that we went through, still to this day. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, and he's bringing them back this time, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them the Lord will bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. That's what happened to us last time. Extreme uncomfortableness. And that's what we're in today. We didn't get out of the curses yet. So if you're just good right now, that's terrifying to be just good right now, because we're still under these curses, and we're actually to the point where, he's bringing all these curses back that, he kind of pulled off us for a little bit, but a lot of them are coming on the heathen. But that don't mean we just scot free, because he said this. Everybody gonna get hit with the rain, which is them troubles, especially us, because he's trying us. Matthew, and chastising us because, we sinned against the Lord. Matthew chapter 5, verse 45, this is Yahawashi speaking himself, that ye may be children of your Father which is in heaven, for he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and the unjust. We all got to deal with, particular things. And some brothers have different curses, than others. Not every brother has the same curses, It's kind of spread out, But these curses is coming back on this place. And Ezra's, he's actually here at this time. That's why I said, woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? He said that because he was going to be here. But we're going to get to the point of knowing that this place is the new Egypt, okay? Spiritually, Sodom and Egypt, as it says in Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. This is another way to tie that to that precept in Revelation. This is Second Esdras, chapter 15, verse 10, and it reads, but I will bring them, or says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, right? But when you really go into this, he's not talking about old Egypt, okay? Because I want to show you something. Some history real quick, just a little bit. This is something good to know if you don't know it. When was I'll show you something. When was Esdras in captivity? Let me find it. Yeah, when did the book of Esdras take place? It says the former view holds that Esdras came to Jerusalem about 458 BC, right? And Nehemiah's first in 444, and the second time about 430 BC. Whereas according to the opposite opinion, he said it might have taken place as late as 397, right? So we're looking around this time, okay? Around 400, 500 BC is when he was over there, okay? Let me see. I'm going to point it out. But he spoke a lot about, things that were going to happen in the future. Let me see. I had it earlier. But yeah, he was in the Babylonian captivity, kind of Assyrian Babylonian captivity, kind of leading into the Persian captivity, okay? Because the Egyptian captivity, when we were in Egypt, it was around 1500 BC, okay? Then you got the Assyrian captivity is around 720 BC. And then the Babylonian captivity is about 586 BC, okay? But then you got the Persian captivity, which is 538 BC. So between that and that, he was kind of like in Babylon and went a little bit into Persia, okay? When he was writing about, when he was writing these scriptures, okay? But a lot of second Esdras had to deal with, a lot of that stuff was actually written around, they say like 70 AD, whenever we were besieged, Israel was besieged. But a lot of this stuff was written as well, by other prophets as well, to help him finish the books. Okay. We're not going to go too far into that, but, the Greek captivity was 332 BC. You got the Roman captivity, 70 AD. And then you got here, Barak of Babylon the Great, 1619 AD. So if we know in Egypt was 1500 BC, that means that when he said this, right, he said, I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. That's like almost 1,000 years later. So we know he's not talking about that Egypt because that wasn't there no more. We've been gone from there because he was in between the Babylonian and Persian captivity. So we know he's not talking about old Egypt. Okay. And it says 11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. See, as before, same thing. So it's talking about over here. And will destroy all the land thereof. Talking about what? The missiles coming to blow this place up because old Egypt is not destroyed. There's still people over there living in shit. Okay? He's talking about over here in Babylon. And Egypt shall mourn, the foundation shall be smitten with the plague and punishment the Most High shall bring upon it. Verse 13, they that till the ground shall mourn, and for their seed shall fail to the blasting in hell and with fearful constellation, right? Seeing them chariots and stuff, you know, the famines, all that. 14, woe to the world to them that dwell therein. So that's just a little bit of history. You know, if you didn't know, you know, kind of those histories, I you know, go refresh them from time to time because they're just good to remember. You know, it's good to know times and dates, but you know, it is like you know, you don't want to dig too deep into that stuff because a lot of this stuff we don't really know what time we're in. You know, they change the time and laws, but it's good to have like a kind of good little like gist of like a little gist of you know, what we're dealing with and what times that we're in and some of the things our forefathers did. Because, you know, we are our forefathers coming back. You never know that you could be reading what your ass wrote. And that's what makes this like makes you marvel and think about it. Like you literally could be reading something that you wrote. You just never know. But one of us Jakes did it so we can get the hell out of here and fulfill prophecy. So Shalom to elect Israel, hopefully elect Israel, Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, foreigners, like selected the nations, scattered across four corners of the earth. Want to give all praise to Barak, Barak, Yahawashi. Got to give all praise to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to those and apostles, great millstone, let us all to this truth. Been ordained by the Lord, teach the flock how to live, repent, pray fast, show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness of wrath to all, part of the elect to the hopeful elect. Lord will edify to the flock, peace and blessing to the elect, the water for the precepts. Lock out, didn't get all to them. But, you know, it's good that, you know, brothers post precepts because, you know, new people coming in, you can go take them precepts down and it'd be extra stuff that you can add to your arsenal, your quiver. You know, this is like our weapon. This, you know, the arrows is the scriptures. You know, this is to keep you from falling into this world and doing things that's not going to be pleasing to the Lord and get your ass blown up out here. So, peace bless to the elect, Kwame Yasharala. Shalom.